Walpole Film Festival started in 2003 as one of the first high school film festivals in the country. The program has been recognized nationally as a model for creativity and collaboration in the classroom. Students in the program are required to follow each step in modern independent digital filmmaking. This includes screenwriting, acting, art direction, shooting on digital cameras, editing on professional software, and composing original music. The festival culminates each year with a red carpet ceremony that celebrates the achievements of each crew. To learn more about this year's Walpole Film Festival and how to become a sponsor, please visit our website, walpolefilmfestival.com. Thank you and enjoy the movie.
Well, I worked on the idea with Banks. We thought we had something pretty good. He was pretty adamant about picking his own crew, which is something I frown upon because, quite frankly, nothing gets done.
Riley kind of just made a crew of just his friends in order to get nothing done.
So it was Banks and Barry, two experienced directors I had a lot of faith in. And they wanted Torres to work sound, and there's a tall kid, beard, Kofsky. He did something.
Alan put me on the crew in order to censor everyone, to make sure no one did or said anything that was too bad. But I never would have signed on to this if I knew what we were getting into.
We had a decent idea. I think that things were rolling, but something was missing. Banks knew something was missing, and then somewhere along the line, that something missing was Liam Wainwright. It took a lot of convincing to have Liam Wainwright on the crew. I knew that Liam Wainwright has a temper, and he can fly into a rage. He's ruined movies in the past. I was convinced, and the first day of shooting, at least, he was excellent. He brought the gold.
Our first and only day of shooting was great. Liam did way better than we expected.
So Liam, Riley, we're here to talk about your history of violence. What makes you want to?
It was just a born gift, and I felt like I needed to share it.
So you found yourself to be a talented and through other extracurriculars of football and rock that you do.
Yes.
Have you not found a complete outlet? You still need to.
Oh yes. I still like to. Out of sports, yes.
Everything just looked so promising. We couldn't have imagined what happened next.
So I think there was always an underlying tension between Liam and that other kid on his crew, the tall one that looks like Mr. Gitkin. And tensions were high, and he saw that kid work with another crew, and Liam didn't like that, and that really set things off.
Dylan! was to save this crew, not destroy it. Bring balance to the movie, not leave it in darkness. I'm having your baby.
I hate you!
You were my brother, Liam. I loved you. I had your baby.
The incident was a lot worse than it looked. I mean, sure, Dylan died, but it was really the crew that died that day.
It was weird after that. There was just so much tension.
Yeah, they usually seemed like they were having a good time, but it seemed like the death of a friend took a toll on them.
So what are we gonna do now?
I don't know what we're gonna do. I know we don't have any lead actor. Our boom guy's dead and the other one's got no legs.
Andrew, his name's Andrew, you know that.
I don't care what his name is, he's a cripple.
You can't just say that.
I can say whatever I want to say. We got Lieutenant Dan over here, he's useless.
It's fine, I get it.
Wainwright, it's my fault, really. I brought him on. I thought he'd be a good addition to the team. And then he went and he killed that kid. What was his name?
Dylan?
Yeah, Dylan. Yeah, Wainwright, he loved killing things. He really did. I mean, the Dylan fella, the movie, that rabbit of Mice and Men.
Ryan was going through an identity crisis at the time. Not only did he not know what the movie was going to be, but who he was going to be.
Nobody knew where Banks was. I mean, there were rumors that he was like roaming around Walpole. The crew didn't know what to do. But as time kind of went on, it was clear he wasn't coming back.
After Banks was gone, Ryan went through a real transition period, to say the least.
So Barry became a horse. I don't know when it started. I know that like I'd always have to remind Barry to stay on target and stop watching video of farms all the time. But at some point, he started transforming into a horse. And that's when I knew the movie was in trouble. I mean, when one of your directors becomes a horse, the movie's kind of dead.
Ryan really wanted to enter the Kentucky Derby, but no one thought he had a chance. I mean, he didn't really have a real jockey, but when he found his, there was hope.
After the whole Wainwright incident, I was affected emotionally and physically. I lost my legs. And Dylan, but I mostly care about my legs, so. But I lost a lot of weight, so this gave me a really good opportunity to become Barry's legless jockey.
He didn't have exactly a jockey. It was a doll, which isn't legal in the Derby handbook. But once his friend Taurus came on, you know, the legless fella, started to catch his stride. He started to do really well. Started winning a few races.
They couldn't come up with anything. Riley just started to drink water out of a paper bag, and then one day he just stopped showing up to film altogether.
So a lot of people don't know this, but Banks had a son, and he really wanted to get to know him better and spend more time with him. So he left school as an opportunity to get to really know his son on a very personal level.
I just got the letter from Child Protective Services that my current domicile is not fit for children, so I haven't seen my son in about 3 months. I worry about him with his mother. She's a but I'm sure he's gonna do great things. What was the question?
Apparently, Banks had accumulated hundreds of thousands of dollars in gambling debt.
Well, it was definitely a rare case. And in these progressive times, we have to be just as good as the next guy. So us at the Derby, we knew he had no chance of winning. But the ratings were great. I couldn't say no.
Barry entered the race at 10,000 to 1 odds, which a gambling man as myself just can't stay away from. I mean, sure, he's got 2 of the 4 legs necessary to run, but my God, if he cashes out, I'm living large, man. I'm living large.
Banks put all the money he had into that race. If not, he'd be dead broke. It would all be over.
Well, the media really ate it up. I mean, there was a tremendous amount of hype surrounding Barry, especially all across the Rust Belt. After his appearance on Ricky Tonight, he just blew up. Yeehaw!
Ricky Tonight was the top late night show in West Virginia. Ricky Braxton just captured the whole essence of the state.
So, Mr. Barry, let me ask you. You really, truly are going through with this horse thing, right? You're serious, but I'm going to be straightforward with you. Here in West Virginia, we're serious horse people. You know, that's the way we were raised. Every Sunday, my mom and pop take me down to the temple. We'd offer our sacrifices to Poseidon. And, you know, that's where I'm coming from with this. So I just need to make sure you truly, absolutely, honestly believe yourself to be a horse.
It was pretty clear that the host disagreed with Barry's action to become a horse.
I mean, I'm not saying that I have any problem with that. I don't. But as a parent, if my daughter were to bring home some sort of equine beast, you know, I honestly might have a thing or two to say about that.
After his appearance, Barry had more hype in him than any other horse in racing history. There was just one problem.
So I am the official horse doctor for the Kentucky Derby, have been for about 13 years now. Prior to that, I worked on a couple of ranches. And I was the doctor actually appointed to the physical of Ryan Barry. And the results were shocking. So it was evident through my thorough examination of Ryan Barry that he is indeed not a horse, although parts of him were very horse-like.
And we're here live at this very mediocre bridge as the March of Horsemen has begun. There seems to be little to no police presence, as horse people are known to be incredibly nonviolent.
He was definitely controversial. He took the most iconic speeches in American history and made them about horses.
The movement, it was really growing at this time. It just needed that little spark to really get the people going. And Barry, he was that spark.
And then things took a total curveball when that kid that looks like Mr. Gitkin came back as a Jedi ghost.
4 horse and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men and their horses are created equal.
Sure, they stole a lot of speeches, but that doesn't change the effect that a Jedi ghost had on this movement.
Barry led the charge, and after a couple of hours and a few speeches, horses were granted equal rights.
That day the bill was passed. It will go down in history. Barry really solidified himself as the single greatest equine leader in all of the 21st century.
Do I regret it? Never for a second. I'd kill Dylan 1,000 more times if I could. I saw potential in those guys, and I need to give them a way out. Like, thanks to Barry, we have our first horse congressman. Dylan got to be a ghost, for God's sakes. And Banks gets to see his kid one Thursday a month. And Andrew lost both of his arms, falling on a railroad track. So he's a buoy now. So no, I have no regrets. And if I have to spend the rest of my life in here, which I do, I'm perfectly fine with that.
So to recap, we have a director who's now half man, half horse. Another one who's a homeless dad. A sound guy who was killed. A boom operator who's legless and armless. And some sort of buoy off the coast of Cape Cod. And they never got this movie made. Or did they?